Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Renee if you guys are new here. Today we are back with another episode of Life and Style featuring Tracee Ellis Ross. Tracee is a woman that I've always been intrigued by, not only because of her style, but her as a person, which really is the premise of this series, Life and Style. I consider her to be the total package. Like, she's a style girl, really into fashion. She's a businesswoman, and to me, she is a comedian. Like, to me, she's funny as hell, like in a quirky way. I love to laugh, and she's funny as hell. But let me not take too much time and let's just get right into it.
Today I have an attitude. I wish it was one of gratitude.
Tracee Ellis Ross is more than a household name. She's a storyteller, a style visionary, and a woman who turned authenticity into her superpower. From sitcom success to fashion icon in her own right, of course, and a beauty entrepreneur, Tracee's journey is one of courage, creativity, and pure joy, and I love to see it. Born into music royalty, she could have easily lived in someone else's spotlight. Instead, she built one of her own. Tracee Joy Silberstein was born on October 29, 1972 in Los Angeles, California, the daughter of legendary singer Diana Ross and music manager Robert Ellis Silberstein. Growing up surrounded by glamour and artistry, Tracee quickly developed her own creative identity. She attended the Dalton School in New York, then Brown University, where she studied theater arts. But before stepping into a television set, Tracee was already immersed in the fashion world, modeling, styling, and working as a fashion editor for magazines like Marabella and New York. Now, Tracee has had a very extensive career, and if a lot of you didn't know, now you know. She is Diana Ross's daughter, which back in the day, I didn't necessarily correlate the two. I guess I was aware, but didn't too much focus on it because she did really create a lane of her own. So Tracee had a YouTube channel back in the day that I used to watch a lot. This was when she was not necessarily on TV as much as she was before, and I fell in love with watching her take care of her clothes. She was very much so into vintage. She was very much so into her home in general. It was different. It wasn't so cookie cutter. She would hand wash her clothes. When she would pull out her pieces, she was always a story behind it. I know she had a lot of her mom's archival pieces. She also let it be known that while she was acting, she wore a lot of her own clothes and she styled a lot of the items herself. Could you imagine? A lot of people these days, their style is very much so curated, but she was able to just pull things out of her closet. Like, she had her own sense of style and her own taste, and a lot of the character that she played, really a lot of it came from the clothes that the character wore. But let's get into her breakout hit, Girlfriends. In 2000, Tracee Ellis Ross landed the role that would define a generation, Joan Clayton, on the hit television series Girlfriends. The show celebrated Black womanhood, friendship, and ambition in ways rarely seen on screen. Tracee's portrayal was warm, complex, and refreshingly human. But, she was intoxic. Let's not leave that out. Her comedic timing and emotional depth made her a standout, and for many, a reflection of their own lives. For a lot of people, Sex and the City was the show for them, but for me, it was Girlfriends. Yes, I got a lot of fashion inspiration from them, but on Girlfriends, that's the first time I saw a pair of red bottoms. That's the first time I saw a Birkin, that episode when Tony spent so much money to get this bag that she could not afford. The women on the show were classy and quirky and hippie and, around the way. They all had their own personal style, but Joan was something very admirable to look up to. She was a high-powered attorney at a firm that was very much so male-dominated, but she did not sacrifice her style to go to work. She still was sexy in her own right. Her clothes fit. Her body looked amazing in those clothes. Like, the body that she had then and now is what people pay for. She wore beautiful suits that were tailored to perfection and still showed her frame. She wore stilettos with those business suits. On her days off, her denim fit perfectly. She had cute tops. She just used to strut. Even at a time when wearing your natural hair wasn't necessarily as popular, she wore her fro in a law firm, in a professional setting, and on a day-to-day, especially in a place like California, where we all know how superficial it can be there. But we'll discuss hair later on in the video. And really, no shade, even though we grew up on going to the Rainbows and the Joyce Leslies and all those little cutesy little cheaper stores as, being young, but she really gave you something to look up to. She's really why as I got older and I started working more in luxury retail, I would really save all of my coins to go and try to get quality pieces that I still have to this day. Even if you're in more of the fast fashion, the quality used to be better back then. But anyway, I used to seriously buy my pieces one at a time. I would see something that I liked and I would save up for it. I started going into better workwear. You want to show up a certain way when you're in a professional setting, but you don't want to sacrifice how you look. I've always been complimented on my workwear because I still bring my personality. I'm never in a stuffy suit. I'm always in something that's cute and vibrant. I love pink and I'm still going to wear pink, but in a professional way. I will wear a pinstripe suit, something similar to what Joan would wear, but I'm going to wear it in a fashionable way. I'm going to still wear my accessories, still wear my hoops, still wear my everyday jewelry, and still make it me, We really underestimate characters to look up to. We don't have that anymore in today's television, if people are even still really watching television. But even on our streaming series, we don't really have too much of that to look up to, besides reality television acting a plumb fool. Moving on to Tracee's next hit series, Blackish. I really feel like during Blackish is when Tracee really started to receive her flowers, actually. She was her breakout star in Girlfriends, but it was around this series when people really started taking notice. Tracee was always a Loewe girl. Like, she was wearing the pieces off the runway, okay? When it comes to fashion, Tracee, she does not follow the trend. She's always in color. She's always in something that's very different and quirky, very much so like her personal style. She does have a stylist that she works with, Carla Welch. I feel like it's more of a collaborative relationship because, again, Tracee has her own point of view. When it comes to the red carpet things, imagine how busy one has to get. You would need a stylist to help you pull the looks that you want. When Tracee's on the red carpet, she's looking elegant, she's looking sexy, but she's always looking different. Some would say even to the naked eye, you'd be like, what in the world does she have on? But she really pushes the envelope and she actually tries. When everyone else is on the red carpet in nudes and whatever the trends are, she's doing her own thing, which I love and appreciate and respect. One minute she'll be on the red carpet in a Valentino gown, and the next minute she'll be in a Christopher John Rogers suit. And Christopher John Rogers is very colorful, very awkward, quirky shapes, but very different. And you have to have a certain style to pull off his shapes and all his runway pieces. Tracee has always described herself as a shopper, which I can relate. Not so much now, but before. Whether she's wearing sculpture or couture or oversized streetwear, Tracee uses clothing as a language, one that speaks of freedom, play, and power. She's often described as fearless, but her approach to style is deeply intentional. Every look, every silhouette carries a message that fashion should be fun, expressive, and entirely your own. Now let's move on to Tracee as the businesswoman. Besides her being an amazing director and producer, she launched in 2020 a beauty brand called Pattern Beauty. Now, it started out as a hair care line, but she has stated in various interviews that she named it Pattern Beauty and not just Pattern Hair Care because she has a vision for the company that goes far beyond just hair care. Pattern is a hair care line celebrating natural texture, curls, coils, and kinks in all their glory. It wasn't just a brand launch, it was an act of representation, a reminder that natural beauty is something to honor and not hide. Now, if you remember earlier when I was talking about her on Girlfriends, she was wearing her natural hair at a time when wearing natural hair wasn't popular. She does also talk about, as her being younger, like her early 20s, she used to fry her hair with the flat iron a lot. So imagine how much time and care it probably took to get her hair to the point that it was when she was on Girlfriends. And looking back now, it may not have seemed so revolutionary because everyone's wearing their natural hair these days. And when I say natural hair, I mean obviously curls, kinks, coils, like coarser textures. Then it was because no one else was doing it. So she would wear curly, sometimes she would have it blown out, but not like flat iron blown out, like just like a brushed out curl type of fro type of style. She was doing that. Okay, so, and her also stating that this company has been 10 years in the making. Because, you know, you're going to hear a lot of no's. People think no one wants another hair care company. You know, people don't necessarily get it. But I love how it's bold colors and the packaging. Packaging can make or break your product as well. People like to use things that they like to look at. It's all about aesthetics these days. So I love what she's doing with her brand. Now, this part of the video, I wasn't sure if I wanted to touch on it or not because I feel like it's being highlighted a little bit too much when it comes to Tracee's name being brought up on the social media streets, but her dating life, okay? I feel like Tracee is iconic in all the various ways that I've mentioned earlier, but because she talks about being a woman that doesn't have children and a woman that's not married, I do feel like she brings a voice to women who are in that same boat and may not necessarily want those things. She does want to be partnered, as she said, but she may not have wanted kids and she may not have wanted marriage, or maybe those things she wanted but it just didn't pan out, and that's the story for a lot of women. But I feel like it's turned into a negative thing when she hasn't spoken negatively on dating, and I haven't heard anyone come out and speak negatively on her as a partner. So for it to sort of come out and be this sort of bashing her because now she's 50 and this and that, when she lives in all her glory and she loves the space that she's in now. She says she would never go back to being 40, 30, 20, any of that. I feel like as she should be speaking out about her experience to bring light on the women who may not be interested in living that way, the way society tells us we need to live, and maybe okay with accepting their situation the way it is. She may be a role model for them, or just a life that looks full the way she's living it, and it may not be as empty as the way society makes it seem that you will be if you don't have those things. It is important to talk about those things, but it just comes down to relationship talk again, and it just overshadows all the great things that she's done. And as important as it is for her to speak on it, I just kind of wish maybe she would just stop a little bit, because it's really no one's business. And for the most part, she's been pretty private, but she opens up a little bit and people take it and run with it and turn it into something that it's not. So I decided to just focus solely on the great things Tracee has done, her great style, her great humor. I just love it all. So I just wanted to throw that in there really quick. As always, don't forget to hit that like button and that notification bell wherever it is on the screen. Follow me on all my social media channels. I'm Renee Lennox on pretty much everything. And until next time,